Welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Radio Show on We Are Hotline, and we have another transformational story for you. We have a fantastic woman. She is the co-founder of Jewels Under the Kilt. You gotta love that name. Please welcome Elisabeth Burrow to the show. How are you doing today, Elisabeth?
Great, thank you.
Awesome. And the show is about, transforming lives one story at a time, and people from all walks of life come and share their heart stories and really inspire people. And Elisabeth is just like that. She's got a great story to share with you today. So let's get to it. Elisabeth, tell me about your background leading up to owning Jewels Under the Kilt.
Okay, so I worked for 18-plus years in the healthcare industry. My final position was Director of Support Services for long-term care facilities in the Greater Toronto area. Mm-hmm. I worked with some pretty ancient homes that really, when you're talking healthcare, as you've seen in the news, food was not their friend.
No.
So I helped create a home where we did use fresh fruits. We used fresh vegetables. We made our stuff from scratch. Gravies were all done from bone marrow because I believe that senior citizens need a healthy meal to just sustain life and enjoy it while they're still there because they have a lot to offer.
Yeah.
And I did that for 18 years. And then my husband was transferred to a 95-plus acre farm because his job transferred him. And he told me after 18-plus years, that's it. You don't need to work anymore. So at first I was very excited. But after working in the healthcare industry, it's a little hard to commit to not doing anything. So I gave him a 2-year time limit for not working. And during that 2 years, the first year was pretty busy, working on the farm barns and that kind of stuff. And then I got a little bored. So I started exploring the town and the place that I live in and got my interest back in food and discovering local and fresh. And at that time, we found out that on our farm we had huge asparagus patch. We had fruit growing. It was an amazing time for me. It was a transition. And at the same time, we were given maple syrup, which I don't eat, I don't like. I know that's pretty un-Canadian, but it's not my cup of tea.
Really?
So I was buying nuts from the bulk barn or from my local grocery store, and the taste of those kind of raw nuts just really were not the freshest, obviously. So I masked them with the maple syrup, and I found that they actually really came out awesome. And if you know healthcare, when you make a meal for people, it's not one or two, it's for 50 to 100. So I would roast at least 50 pounds of nuts a week.
Wow,
and I had to get rid of them somehow, so I gave them to friends.
Okay.
Who told me, maybe you should start selling them. And then I kind of decided that I didn't want to just sell yucky nuts masked with maple sugar and, that kind of thing. I wanted a healthy alternative because I eat a lot of nuts. And I thought if I was home, I could grow some because we live on a farm.
Right.
So I did some research and found that we could grow nuts here. So the first year I was only going to put in 5 just for me, and my husband said, "What's 5? Why not 30?" So the first year we put in about 100 and something trees.
Amazing. Wow. What an evolution for you from the
Definitely.
healthcare field to what you're doing now. But it's all connected. It all led you to what you're doing, and you're still an advocate for good health because that's a passion of yours. And the question I have for you now, and it puzzles me because when I was growing up, and I love nuts, by the way, like I eat copious amounts of nuts weekly. And my grandmother actually used to grow peanuts on her property in Jamaica.
Awesome.
So I'm the type, I like nuts raw. I don't even like anything added to it. Just give it to me straight out of the dirt. We'll just, like blow some of the dirt off, and I'll eat the rest of it. I won't eat the shell. But you know what I mean? That's
I do.
She calls me the family squirrel. So the question I have is, when I was growing up, everybody seemed to be consuming peanuts and peanut butter in school. Like, we could just be coming to school with our peanut butter sandwiches, no problem. We can't do that now. We can't send children to school with peanut butter. What's happened? Is it the peanut, or is it the soil that's causing?
So I don't think it's the soil. I think it's how we process nuts now.
Okay.
I think that peanuts in particularly have a lot of oils in them. So whether you're getting them from the ground or not, it does carry a lot of oils that stay. It's a thicker oil. But when you have to irradiate them or bleach them or any of those things, I think you activate the oil. So you activate the chemical compounds in those oils that react with the nuts in the shell, that turn it into something that could potentially cause people to have an allergy to. I actually don't do any peanuts. It's the one nut, well, it's not even a nut, it's a vegetable, but it's the one nut that I don't do. We do tree nuts. And there are allergies to tree nuts, but more selective. So if you can't have walnuts, you can have hazelnuts in some cases. So because I roast the way I roast, we only do one nut at a time. I don't mix the tree nuts. I'm pretty allergen. I'm not going to say I'm allergen free, because obviously I grow tree nuts. And what we roast with. But I think it's the oils. I think it's what happens is the oils get agitated and they change their chemical makeup by the tannins. Like in a walnut, the walnut is separated with those pieces, the little filament of paper, and that paper has a lot of tannins in it.
Okay. All right. So that I understand that part of it now. Okay, makes sense. Now, the type of nuts that you provide, what varieties and where can people locate you? Do you have a store, or do you go and manufacture? Can people buy online?
So all of the above. We roast walnuts, pecans, and hazelnuts. That's what I roast with the fresh fruits and vegetables that our province has available. So like fresh apples, or right now we're doing a very new one I just created, which is a wasabi pickle. Mm-hmm. And then I also do black walnuts, which is an indigenous species to Ontario. It's a very healthy nut, and we make granolas with that nut. And you can find us online at jewelsunderthekilt.com. You can find us in many retail outlets, cheese stores, butcher shops across Ontario. We are now roasting, this year we are roasting for another company under a private label, and you can find those nuts in Whole Foods. Mm-hmm. Excellent. And you can buy from our store if you want to come and book an appointment to come. Our store is open.
Okay, and where is your store located?
Fergus, Ontario.
Fergus, okay. It's a lovely area. A friend of mine lives there, and it's just beautiful. So
I love
make your trip down to Fergus and experience Jewels Under the Kilt. Now, I've got to ask you, how did you come up with that name?
Well, my husband, unfortunately, doesn't like to joke with me anymore, but I was sitting at my computer, and he was kind of lounging around, and we were trying to decide what to call, because when we first entered the farmers markets, we actually didn't have a name or any kind of bagging. We just used a little sandwich bag. And he was sitting there, and I said, it has to be something in the orchard, under the orchard, something. And because we live in Fergus, which is kind of the Scottish capital, he jokingly said, I got it. It's Jewels Under the Kilt. And because I was at the computer, I booked the business as Jewels Under the Kilt.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Okay. Love that. And how has your life been transformed by being a part of this company with your husband?
Wow. I meet so many people that want to grow nuts, have been growing nuts. I get to see people's reaction when they actually try my nuts, because we're quite different than anything that's on the market. People aren't expecting what they actually get. They think they're going to be very sweet and sort of candy-like, and our nuts really aren't that way. They're not designed that way. So that really surprises me. We just get to meet so many interesting people. That's my favorite part.
Okay, all right. And what would you offer as advice to someone who's considering starting their own business? What would you say in a few words?
Oh, wow. I would say go for your dream. Be adaptable to change, and really find yourself some great mentors who can help you along the way. Don't be afraid to ask for help and seek help. It's what got me to the point where we are after 5 years, is that I centered myself around some very great people who offer me some excellent advice, and I still look to them for help. And, you know, they can get you through some of the government issues when you're starting a business. It's key. That's key. Be open to listen.
Okay. Fantastic. And Elisabeth, how can people connect with you? Where can they find you to know more about your story and also to purchase some amazing jewels under the kilt?
Okay, so they can go online and they can read our story at jewelsunderthekilt.com. They can email me at lismit69@bell.net. They can find me at Brickworks Evergreen Brickworks Garden Market every Saturday. We'll be at the Withrow Farmers Market, RBC Farmers Market. We'll do the distillery on Sundays. They can find me at a very few shows right now. We do sort of the health food line of shows. We do the Cheese Festival in Picton. So those ones are coming up. We're going to be part of the Ontario Culinary Market at Ontario Place for May for Canada 150. So you can find me just about anywhere.
Just about everywhere. That is amazing. Yeah. Well, congratulations on what you're doing to support good health, and also to showcase some of the great products that Ontario has. Ontario farmers are really top notch, and a lot of people need to recognize that. So we appreciate what you do. So Elisabeth Burrow, thank you so much for your time on the show. We appreciate you. I am so looking forward to meeting you face-to-face at the Nikki Clarke live taping in Toronto, and I hope you're going to bring some jewels under the kilt there so we can snack and listen to your great story.
I definitely want to have you try some of our nuts, for sure.
Okay, it's going to happen. I'm telling you, no shame. We'll eat everything in sight. I'm telling you, the family squirrel, the legend exists. So,
great.
I really appreciate you. You've been listening to the Nikki Clarke Radio Show with Elisabeth Burrow, the co-founder of Jewels Under the Kilt. If you just tuned in, you don't have to worry. We're going to be replaying the interview throughout the week, Monday to Friday on We Are Hotline from 11 a.m. to noon. Again, Elisabeth, thank you for your time, and we look forward to meeting you very soon.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. Bye-bye now.
Bye.